It's long been an idea of ours to have a horticulture training school in Belize because for a number of reasons. One being that a lot of people in the tourism industry have always asked us if we could provide trained gardeners for work in their hotels because most of the gardeners that they hired were unskilled. And then we also belong to a Caribbean Botanic Garden group who is always saying someone should start a school for gardeners training in the Caribbean. And so that's the role that we would like to fulfill in the future. That along with our training here in Belize. The objectives of the rural development program are to alleviate poverty and train rural people to do different skills, and this fits in very well because most of the people that we are training come from village communities, and we're training them in job skills that they can use right away when they finish the 10-week training.
It's a nice opportunity to work with plants because like in the resort itself, you get to combine your plants. You know, maybe you want plants that are palms, and you want shrubs, and you want ground covers. And there you get the chance, you know, to challenge yourself. Let's say for a nice space, you have a wall, and you need to put palms, shrubs, and ground covers. You have to design it in your mind. You know, you have to have a little sense of how the plant grows. Because there are some plants that are rapid growers and some that are slow growers, and you have to know how much time they take to grow and how much space they take and what pests will attack them and how to control the pests. And you also need to know what type of soil they like, if it's acid or a basic soil. You have to know all those things.
I've been fortunate enough to see how this has been changing people's lives. A lot of times I was also called to interview some of the students. Some people didn't know what horticulture really was. So people came here not knowing what plants really are. And then the reason why people came to the interviews was because, you know, we promoted that this kind of teaching will produce jobs. And that's what people are looking for, basically jobs. At the ending of the training, some of them would burst into tears saying they came here knowing nothing. Now they go back with all this information. And then we had employers calling us wanted gardeners. So we recommended these gardeners to these employers, and about 80% of them are doing very, very well. I've had messages from the employers, I have messages from the students themselves thanking us for giving them this big opportunity, thanking EU, European Union, thanking Belize Botanic Garden, thanking the Belize Jungle Lodge for this opportunity that we have given. And for that, for me, I mean, to change a person's life like that is just incredible.
Well, at first, when I came to this course, I didn't have much education. I only went to primary school. I did not go to high school. I was too much of a troublemaker, so I didn't go to high school. But now, being here at the course, I really realized that I need to further my education. I was planning to take night classes, so do high school and stuff, because I want to also do studying about pest control. I want to be able to be a botanist in the future.
My ultimate career goal is to be a botanist and a conservationist, and gardening is a good first step, because there we get to know at the horticulture course we got to know the plant names, plant families, and how they grow in their environment, and what can grow on them. You know, like there are some trees that will grow orchid and some of them that won't, and some trees that are poisonous and some trees that are edible. And horticulture itself is a nice step to grow in botany, and it will affect my career in my future career, because I would say that, you know, in the living society, in the present society, I would say there are many things that we don't know about, and you know, as research goes on, we get to know more plants, we get to know more species, we get to know more uses, and we could say like the medicinal uses of it and the ornamental uses of it. There are many things that can be learned about plant, and this is a good step to start.
This course has helped me a lot. It opened my mind to know that there are much more things that I can learn and I can also teach people in the future. And it's all about dealing with plants. It's something amazing, I would say. And it helped me right now because due to my schooling, I do not have a far education. But with this, it will help me definitely to find jobs and doing gardening or just maintenance and stuff. And planning to, this course gives you the basics, so I'm planning to further out my education and go.
Well, our last report was done at the end of March of this year, 2014, and at that point we had trained 61 gardeners, and I think about almost 60% of them had jobs. Some had started their own businesses. We're very proud of our women gardeners as well as our men, but we have 2 of our women gardeners who are head gardeners at the places where they work. We have several who started their own businesses, but in particular, well, there's one, Marvin Paredes, and Marvin just recently sent us a letter saying, thank you so much for training me to do a job that I like, that it's made a big difference in his life and in his family, and that he didn't expect to be able to find employment doing something he liked. And I think that's what's happened with a lot of our students. You know, instead of just having some kind of dead-end job, they love plants, they love working with plants, and if they can get a job doing it, then they like being at work all day. And to me, that's a success, that, you know, when that's achieved.
I had just graduated from high school, and my father was working there, so he told me that they were giving a course, and I applied and I got accepted. So I attended 3 months, and after the 3 months was done, I got a job there at Deploys. After like 8 months, I came here. The job is good, and it's better to work and earn your money honestly. You know? I earn my money and I'm saving it so that I can go further in my education. This job that I got thanks to the European Union has helped me contribute to my family, and my father has been able to retire so that he takes a little rest and I can help them. I can help them in the family, like in the electricity, in the food, and the water bills.
Before the course, I used to work for my dad. I used to make clay bricks for him, and we would fire them and build small cabanas on the farm. Now I got a job and I'm working permanent, so it helped me a lot to bring out my little brothers. I have 2 small brothers, 1 6, 1 8, so I have to push them to finish their school and do their higher education stuff I couldn't do. I want them to do it, and it's helping me money-wise for them to pay tuition, books and stuff. And it's also helping me to be very independent. I guess it's a dream come true, you know. I never imagined myself working at the Belize Botanic Garden. So thank you very much.
We have a lot who've made a big success. We have Delia, who is doing her own landscaping. We have Giovanni, who's now has 2 employees doing his yard care business. We have Carla, who's working for the citrus growers. We have, you know, people working all over the place. We have people at Hamanasi, at Hickory Cottages, at San Ignacio Hotel, at Caves Branch, at Hot Mama's, and down south we have a couple of people who are, you know, enhancing their farming that they were already doing. And so it's hard to pick out 1 or 2 students. We've had a lot of stars in this program. We're very grateful to the European Union and the BRDP program for making it possible, because this has been a long time dream of ours to have this school.
Honestly, I am very thankful. I'm grateful to Belize Botanical Gardens, and especially to the European Union for sponsoring this course, since it has helped a lot of us get to know more plants and get to know our native plants here in Belize. And also we get to know a lot, to learn a lot about our environment, and it has taught us to be a better person in gardening, because Belize is a growing country and a lot of people want a garden in their at home, but they don't have, like, they start growing some plants but then they get disappointed, and since they don't know the right way to treat a plant. But then this course, horticulture course, is teaching us a lot of things, you know, the main things that will help us be a good gardener, that will help us be a better person, you know, interacting with plants. And it's it's a good opportunity. It's a nice opportunity that they have provided us.
Y estoy muy contenta porque él ha ido a hacer aprender bastante de ahí, y ahora puedo ver que él tiene un talento que sacar adelante, y estoy muy contenta porque él ha aprendido muchas cosas de ahí. Puedo ver unos trabajos que él ha hecho y puedo entender, estoy muy contenta porque yo sé que él ha aprendido bastante.
I'm proud of him because he has learned what I didn't learn, because he went to high school, he finished primary school, he went to high school, he went to UB 1.5 years, and I couldn't do that. I didn't do that, so because things were very rough at that time. Well, I'm glad that he did that, and what he learned at Botanical Garden, is getting him higher, because he's working for himself, so I don't have to give him shillings.
We applied for the BRDP 2 through the EM project because we felt that we can help more rural women.
Growing up in the villages, I saw a lot of young girls like to fix up, they like to do their nails, they like to do their hair, but here in PG we don't have a lot of cosmetologists. It's like only 2 that I know of. Whenever special occasions come up, they are full and they can't take you, so I decided that this would be a good thing to venture into. And so I always wanted to do it, but it was only available in Belize City, and it would be hard for me to study there because I have a family. And so when I saw the opportunity that the Y is offering, I decided to jump on it. First, I didn't do anything much except the duties of a regular housewife, the washing, the cooking, the cleaning, and the taking care of children. But it feels nice now to wake up and have something to do, something that I can get up and say, okay, I'm gonna get my chores done, and I can look forward to making my own money for the day. Well, I have to say an immense thank you to them because they are the first one to have brought this kind of training in Punta Gorda and in the Toledo district. They have made a lot of opportunities for women on a whole, because we have only heard about these trainings, the trainings that are happening in Belize City and in Dangriga and in Cayo, but it has never reached Toledo. And so I cannot thank them enough for what they are doing.
My mother had a saloon back then. Its name was Bellway Saloon. The name came about because we are on Belize Highway, the Western Highway, so she gave it that name. I'm from a family that is into business. My mother did business, my father did business, my grandmother did business, and so did I, right? It just came down to me, for me, I would say genetically. So some 40-some years I have under my belt doing business, as far as not opening a official business like this, but doing pastries and cooking and what have you. My niece told me about some project or other that was up here for rural women. I was referred to Miss Virginia Campbell at YWCA, and that's how I got started at YWCA, and I think that was in 2012, thereabout. This building under which we sit was funded. I had a grant of $5,000 from them / the EU Union that I built this building with, labor not included. And so that's how this is right where it is at the moment.
2 young ladies, the Canto sisters that live in San Antonio, Cayo. They were part of BRDP 1. And through BRDP 1, they received training in cake decorating and sewing. And based on that training and the confidence that they built, they were able to start their own business, which is very successful today. So under BRDP 2, we went back, found that they took the skills, the knowledge that they had learned, and had ran with it, and are very successful in their village. So under BRDP 2, we decided to assist them when it comes to business mentoring and technical support, how to have a successful business, as well as providing them with financial resources in the form of a $22,000 grant. Because of the skills that they learned in the business they started, they were both able to build their own houses. And in their house, they had a designated area to do their cake decorating, their sewing. What we are offered was an actual dedicated space where they can have customers come in.
Y estoy muy contenta porque nos han dado esta casa que vamos a comenzar a trabajar, a poner cake, vamos a hacer vestidos de damas y en nuestro futuro estamos pensando poner como telas, zip, cosas de costura y de pastel para vender y un poco del turista. Con estoy muy agradecida, gracias. Pues cuando yo comencé, era pocos con la familia comencé. Después con la familia, después ellos anduvieron diciendo para los aldeanos y después poco a poco ellos me comenzaron a reconocer que yo costuro. Y después, al mismo tiempo, ellos iban allá en otras aldeas, me recomendaban y así es que comenzaron a conocer nuestro trabajo. Con este proyecto he ido adelante porque me ha beneficiado, porque en el comienzo yo no podía mucho con el trabajo, por el tiempo y con el grant, con la máquina, y el training que nos han dado, pues nosotros hemos ido escalando cada paso con eso. Y con eso me ha beneficiado en mi familia y he beneficiado porque he ayudado a mi esposo con este.
This road is in since 1971. I remember the day. I remember the day when the road was finished. And since the road into Hopkins is finished, it was not easy traveling through it. It was always in a bad condition. A part of it was paved up to the swamp, and the rest coming in have never been fixed like what it is now. When it's flood, we usually cannot go to the Engriga, or we have to walk through the water to reach to the drive before we can go ahead, or we had to go through the sea.
As a business owner, became member of DTIA Hopkins branch, and we start lobbying, start talking about how we can get the road to be fixed back like the way it used to be or better. And we had many meetings, and went to the minister. And so when we heard that the project was going to start, European Union, they were going to fund it, we were very happy. Now we see that it's coming to be a reality.
I think it's a valuable and important investment in terms of boosting the outlook of the community. I know we have been promoted as a tourist destination, but I think in terms of getting access and roadways that is welcoming is an additional boost, and I think the road itself is going to increase the economic boost into our community very much so, and that is something that we are already trying to get the people to be aware that because of this road we are going to be impacted with a lot more investment, so they need to prepare themselves to be a part of the change that the road is going to bring into the community, which we consider to be a valuable resource. During the season, like for now, during the rainy season, we always had issues with flooding where the road would be underwater for weeks. With the improvement for the sure, that's definitely going to improve access. It was a dirt road. Getting a paved road is a lot more improvement, and it's not going to turn away people who are traveling to take 4 miles into the community and see what Hopkins has to offer. So the tourism industry is a boost here, and that is basically what drives the economy of the village. So with the road, I could imagine that it's going to just increase, and we'll be competing with Plasencia and San Pedro in the next few years, I think, with the impact of the road.
the tourists usually pass going maybe Placencia. Worst after Placencia Road was paved, you know, usually, but by this week we will get more tourists and local coming into the village and bruise up the business. So now people are afraid to come into Hopkins because their vehicle will get, you know, bad because of the road. But by the road being fixed, it will be better for them to come, even just to spend the day and spend some money at the business.
With the new business, the people who are coming are saying, hey, it's going to be better for Hopkins with the road coming in, because then it's going to be easier to bring in their stuff, shorter distance, better, less wear and tear on their vehicle, and more business coming in because of the better of the road. So we're hoping now that we can get this part of portion of the road fixed.
After the road was here, we get the other infrastructure. We have water which runs along the road. We have electricity, it runs along the road. Before that, our water here was shallow wells. So now we have people begin to change the ways how they build houses, because our houses here was thatched roof houses with palmetto or wild cane. Those were the type of houses we have here. Since the road is here, people change everything. There's been a total change in how we live our life. Now at this time with tourism, it's much more. We see so many people from here from all walks of life. This road had made Hopkins a part of the whole world in itself, because you can wake up here in Hopkins and sleep in the United States. We will see more investors coming into the community, because when you have proper infrastructure, more people will come and look to invest. And the people in this community will be able to, more people in this community will buy more vehicles.
Okay, on behalf of the residents of Hopkins Village, I would like to thank the European Union for providing us with a road, and also to begin a relationship that we think is going to be an ongoing one to help to improve the lives of the people within our community. Thank you once again.
Been attending most of the health and safety regulations in most seminars we've been doing. The regulations, it's, for me personally, I believe it's very good to have it, to follow it, to work with it. You know, something that we really need in most of the sites around, Shanantunish especially, which is one of the second highest temple here, whereas we have El Castillo, which is pretty high and get crowded sometimes, especially on cruise ships and different sites. As far as what I've been noticing, and most of the guides here have been noticing, and we've been working along with the rangers, supposed to be rangers, which here at the site we do not really have a ranger system. And I think that's something that niche has to be implemented so that this regulation, this health and safety regulations, can be worked with. When it comes to the safety regulations, especially like what we went through yesterday, which was a cruise ship day, you know, just giving an example on that one, is that El Castillo is getting overcrowded, doesn't have actually something to be managed or regulate how many people to go up at once at the site to keep it on a safety regulations, to keep it more safe. As what I noticed yesterday, we had up to three groups of cruise ship, which each groups of cruise ship there are over 30 people. And remember, we don't have railings up there, we don't have anything, so it's something we try to keep it natural, but we need the help too. As guides, we're trying our best. As rangers, they're trying their best, but to make all this regulation works, we have to start with one area first. We have to start with, which is known as putting rangers, which are actually rangers, not caretakers. Because that's the problem we have right now in most of the sites. We have caretakers, not rangers. And also what we need is proper uniform for those guys so that they can actually identify themselves proper. That way, with the tour guides like myself and the whole association and the ranger, park rangers and the TPO, with all this implemented, very good, we will have a very safe environment at all the sites. But that's something I see very important to work with first. We need a higher training for first aid instead of just CPR. We've been having people fainting, we've been having people falling, stuff like that, and the basic training we have, we don't have it. So if it would be good for having not only the tour guide, but also the rangers to have 1 or 2 members which would be qualified in that area, you know, which would be qualified in which is the paramedic area as well. That's part of the regulations. That's part of what is the health and safety regulations. One fell already from the temple. We as guide, good thing I have training from the fire department, most of us, and then most of us have different type of training, you know. We could have handled it.
In 1992, I became the chairman of the Toledo Cacao Growers Association for the first time. And then in 1997, I gave it up. But in 2003, the farmers of the area elected me back to become the chairman of the association because the association was on a decline in membership and in production. So I became involved in 2003 and doing different projects and doing the expansion program for Toledo Cacao Growers Association up to 2006. In 2007, we did the pilot project here in San Jose, which was affected by Monilla disease. Monilla came in the country, in Belize, in 2004. Then we said, let's do a pilot project to see whether we can control the disease. And the Toledo Cacao Growers Association did a pilot project there in 2007. With a 35-acre plot, before Monilla, they were exporting or they were selling to TCJ at least 35,000 pounds of cacao. When the disease came and affected the area, they were only selling about 2,000, 3,000 pounds per crop season. In pruning the area, they were able to improve production from 2,000 to 3,000 pounds to at least 8,000 pounds per year, crop season. And that is how TCJ decided to lobby for some additional funding, because traditionally our farmers are not used to pruning their cacao. TCJ decided to lobby for some additional funding now to do this rehabilitation and the pruning program for farmers through the European Union. And the European Union did approve the funding based on the proposal submitted by TCJ. And today, 3 years or 4 years later, the European Union, I guess, are doing an evaluation, which I think you all are doing now, to see the impact of the pruning program. TCJs see that we need more cacao. That's why he provided us some seed to give us to more plant, some more acres of cacao. That's why I got 4 more acres like this one, but 2 acres I transferred to my son, 2 acres. So when they see that we got, because when we start planted, because of my brother Justino, we just started by ourselves, by the agriculture project. So we order a seed with agriculture project. When we start to plant, we plant our own cacaos. Lot of we are in San Jose, we did like that too. So when TCJ came in, they find a project to help us, so they give us some more seed to make our field to grow more. This young one give me about, I sell about 200 pounds every month, and the old ones give me about 150 pounds every month.
The end of the cacao season is up. June is the last month, and I'm not sure when it's going to start. Somewhere in November or December it's starting again, and it runs up to June. and I'm expecting at least more production this year. Last month then we harvested about 11 buckets of cacao beans. I think that's the height, I'm telling you, that's the height of the production just last month. And just when we gone back again, we only harvested 3 buckets. It's beginning to slow down. So the 11 buckets, you could sell it $1.10 a pound when it's wet. It's your choice. If you want to ferment it, yeah, we learn our fermentation too. And you could ferment it and you sell for $2.75 a pound dry cacao beans, fermented, organic.
In my mind, I told my husband that we have to find some land, make we plant some more cacao, so that doing a chocolate we have to have lots of cacao beans. Yeah. If we have then, that's our own means. We can't buy beans for other people. Yeah, that's why I want to know how to start a business like that. We don't try the experience for the making a cacao chocolate, buying cacao chocolate. We have doing, me and Mr. Justino wife try to make it and we sell it for the white people. Well, this is my poster and this is how we have been training, and just not to forget, so I make it from the this paper right here. So this is how we have been training, how to make the chocolate.
We have about 71 farmers who have benefited from the program, and a total of 271 acres of farms that was rehabilitated then at the time. And we have at least 11 communities that benefited from it. San Jose is one of the major communities, San Antonio, Quiquihute, Mayamopan, and Santa Cruz. Those are the few that I can comment on.
Well, this will be the first time we will have on a market here in Benque, because the one that usually people go and buy is there at San Ignacio at Cayo. Usually everybody goes and buy over there. So we will have more advantage for us that everything that we take out over here, our same people will buy it, and then we'll have people from other places that will come and buy over here.
One of the main objectives as a council was in a way to boost up the economic development of the town, and going through that same path we knew that one of the things that would really help us in that economic development would be our own local market. So we started working on plans. That was when I was just a councillor yet. That was when the previous mayor, Mr. Nick Ruiz, was there. In fact, we were able to get that extra funding to actually complete the full market and additional projects that was added to the site that we were able to get from that same European Union funding. Actually, the project is almost over more than $500,000. It's close to $650,000. So it's a very big project, and I know that as you see the video, well, you will see that it's a nice building that we are constructing, and I hope that the Benqueños will take pride on it and they will make the best use of it, which is what we want.
I love to play sports, right? And right now I'm managing my dad's business, and apart from that I'm running my place. We have a rental of cultural clothes that we have, like Garifuna, Chinese, and so on. We rent for preschool, schools, high school, and for 6 farmers. Sometimes from Belmopan, we get students that they come and rent it way over here. Or sell used clothes, used shoes, tennis, perfumes. I got perfumes too. So I wish to continue the business at this market.
We have a lot of people doing a lot of farming, and most of their products, because we don't have
place here in Benque where they can bring their products and sell it. Most of them would actually take them probably to San Ignacio market and areas around. So in order to assist those people and have them come to sell their products into our own town, to our own people, and we would have the people, the Benqueños, instead of going way to San Ignacio, actually to come and buy their products here, and those who do their produce, bring them over to this site and have them sell it here to our own people. So in a way, we would have that benefit, which I'm very sure pretty soon the market will be providing with that economical boost that we are looking forward to in Benque Viejo.
We usually make earrings and bracelets from seeds from trees, and then we have the cultural clothes that we rent. So I think it will be something that I will have a lot of advantage, because in the market, you know, people know about it, and then usually we have a special days that people come and buy at the market or every day, and have an advantage to sell more, I guess. Okay, and to attract tourism and people from outside, Melchor, or people that come and buy.
The community of Benque Viejo, I know I've been around and been talking with quite a few of them, and they are very thankful. They are looking forward for this project, and on behalf of my community, I really want to thank the European Union for funding this project.
I want to thank them, because this we will have a lot of benefit, especially the people from here, from Benque, people from Socots, because majority of us, we usually used to go every Fridays, Saturdays. We used to go to the market at San Ignacio. Now we don't have to go way far over there. We can just come to our market, and then we will be having the same stuff.
I grew there at San Antonio village. You know? My dad grew me there since I was, I think, 5 years. 5 years going to farm, and then from there he started to bring me here to the market and sell. Until now, I face the challenge that that most small children go to the farms and they don't develop a good education. And my son, I think he'll have a better education, because I have a benefit here.
I like this business, so all my daughters work with me, my husband, and all my children. Right now, I'm doing a good profit, because I deliver to the restaurants, the resorts, some, not all, but more or less most of the resort and the hotels. I deliver my vegetables. I deliver them. They call me, they give me order, I prepare it, and I carry it for them. Then by the end of month, they pay me.
I think the market is what is making San Ignacio a very vibrant community, especially San Ignacio and Santa Elena. The market plays a big economic role in this community. Before the new San Ignacio Santa Elena farmers market was built, the people used to occupy some of that same area that they're presently located in, and also around the Coronation Park. No? But before that, it was just on the bare ground. No? So people will come, put their tent, and just be on the bare ground. We decided to seek funding from different organizations in order for us to construct a new market, because what we had people who would be there on a daily basis selling, what we call the permanent vendors, and then we also had the people that would come on the weekends, the temporary vendors, no? That they would just come on Fridays and Saturdays to sell. But basically, most of them were just selling on the bare floor, on the bare ground.
I really appreciate it a lot, and I give them thanks where they donate money to build this market, because first we don't have the cement. It's low and muddy when it rains, but now it is very good, because we have the floor. Before they build this market, maybe like 1,000 to 1,500 people come and buy at the market. But right now, with this market, like 3,000 to 4,000 people come and buy.
And definitely, over the years, we have seen the market has grown tremendously. Not only the people that sell at the market, but also the people who come to visit the market on a daily and on a weekly basis, especially on the weekends. No? I think presently we have, with the permanent and temporary vendors, we have about 100 between 120 and 150 vendors per week coming at the market. Before the new market was built, that was about 100 people. So it has increased somewhat over the years since that new market has been built. No? I think we're already encountering some problems with congestion on the weekends, and we might have not have enough. I think we already don't have enough space for the people that want to sell at the market. So the council is looking at how we could accommodate these other people that want to sell at the market. We're looking at different options, and I hope that very soon we'll be able to accommodate more people to come and sell at the market, especially on the weekends. So.
The last council, with the assistance from central government, had negotiated the retrofitting and the refurbishing of both projects in Punta Gorda. That is the present market and the past civic center. This project was funded by the European Union, basically fully, but like we know, government needs to give its blessing. This project, I think, commenced in about 2010, 2011, just about then. This is a very crucial, critical project to this community. In terms of cost effectiveness, we cannot replace human health, and so I believe that this is a well overdue project for this particular community.
I work closely along with the town council, watching the mayor and the deputy mayor, and they were the ones who were involved with this thing, and we are trying to get a new market for the past years, maybe about 10 years. I think they're trying. I just hear until finally when they told us that they have some European Union coming in, and they said they would lobby for that, so we would see how far we would get. And that's when they called us in, whiching as the chairperson for the Vendors Association. Usually I look at them very closely, I work with them very closely, and they understand what we want in here.
We really need a new market. That's all the years that we were selling here, the 10 years that we were selling here, we had to sell along along the road on the edge of the market. We didn't have no stand in the market because it's all full. So we couldn't have access to the market there. So we had to still sell along the street. And we got to bring in the tarp, a tent like this. And if we have a market where we can go under, that we don't need to bring our tent, we have our stall, so we can just go in there and use it. Well, if we have a stall, then we can bring more stuff, and we don't have to take it back and have a storage at our home. We can keep some of the things here at the market, so we don't have to be hauling it back and forth. And by the time we bring it out and take it back, it's going to be maybe spoiled or bruised, so we cannot sell it the next time. Right now we're selling like 2 days a week. But later on, once we have a stall where we can keep our stuff, we want to sell at least 3 or 4 times a week.
Revenue will definitely be upgraded for the municipality itself. And as a matter of fact, it will be more or less state-of-the-art venue. So obviously there is the possibility of an increase in revenue by something in the neighborhood of 10 to 15%. This project is in the neighborhood of $800,000 to $900,000. It's not easily come across. So on behalf of the citizens, I would like to thank the European Union for assisting us with this particular project. Because one, it will improve the aesthetic of this particular area, and not only that, the livelihood of our people will definitely change by what is transpiring at this market. It will generate more revenue for the community and for Belize.
I graduated from Toledo Community College, and then I graduated from San Pedro Junior College, that's UB. And then I decided that I didn't want to work, as I started working at Captain Morgan's Retreat.
in San Pedro. I worked there for 4 or 5 years. I stopped, and then I decided that I said, no, that's not for me. I want to be self-employed because I did not want to have no boss. And I know that I had the potential of doing it, and I decided that this would be better for me, and that's what I.
The facility is designed to facilitate some additional personnel inside the market. So that will give us into the neighborhood probably additional 15 additional vendors, which will give you in the neighborhood something like 50 to 55 person. Because as I mentioned, we have like 30 to 33 presently. So with an additional something like 15, that should carry to the neighborhood about 50.
Well, the Bureau has originally submitted a concept note to the BRDP2, and the concept note hinged on the importance of improving the quality of life of Belizeans, and to ensure that we assist in helping out small businesses, like I said, micro and small businesses in developing goods and services, so that they could improve their lifestyles, so that a product produced across the country is marketable, and not only marketable in Belize but marketable in the region or in CARICOM and in any international market. Well, the current project under the Belize Rural Development Project 2 is to develop and establish a national metrology laboratory for the country. Metrology is one of the pillars of quality infrastructure, and quality infrastructure includes standardization, metrology, testing and quality. This is important not only for the firm, but it's important for consumers in general, because we also have the responsibility to ensure that goods and services that are produced in the country are safe and healthy to consumers, and that they are also safe and healthy for the environment. Basically, what we are doing for the general public is to ensure that whenever a scale, for example, is used at a store, that the Bureau has the right equipment to give that scale international traceability. There are certain rules that requires a scale to work within a certain tolerance, a permissible error or something to that effect. That the consumer needs to know that, for example, if you buy a pound of sugar, that the weighing device that is being used at the store is accurate and within tolerance. In other words, the consumer doesn't get less for his dollar, and the retailer or the wholesaler doesn't lose in the sense that he's not giving away more than he should. If you look at bleach, there is an established standard for bleach at the national level, and the Bureau sets the rules, the guidelines, the specifications for bleach to be produced in the country to meet certain specifications. The lab itself has the ability to, will have the ability to measure, to test their equipment, their volumetric flask, their pipettes, thermometers. We will have that ability to calibrate their equipment so that whenever they are producing, that the measurements that they take are accurate. Well, the project will fund two things, the equipment and the building. The equipment is to the tune of 1.1 million Belize dollars, and the physical infrastructure for the installation of the labs is 2.5 million Belize dollars. So total roughly about 3.6 million Belize dollars. Well, we expect that construction should start no later than January of next year, 2015, and it should take roughly between 15 to 18 months to complete.
Through the Ministry of Agriculture, a project funded by European Union, to actually enhance the resilience of the rural area with adverse weather conditions, they have introduced a lot of forage material that will allow the farmers to produce their own feed and high quality feed, and store them, that even in the event of flooding or drought, they will have adequate feed stored for their animals. The fact that there is little sheep and goat in the country, I saw the potential for marketing as a huge potential in marketing, because there's limited sheep and goat in this country. I know about, I'm also aware of the Mexican demands for these products as well. No? Again, for ladies, they are small animals, no? So it's easier for ladies to handle. Even their kids can get involved because they're small animals. No? And so my kids, they do most of the caring of for the sheep and the goat, no? Their milk and everything. So I see that's something that could benefit the youths and also the women. No?
Right now I am unemployed, but my husband, he's working, so I'm the one who's taking care of the sheep, and I think it still will be beneficial because it can help in some kind of way with whatever bills we can pay, or even my children, them going to school. I have 2 kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
My oldest child is my daughter, and she's planning to go and pursue her studies in agriculture. No? And so I can see already this project, give them an understanding that agriculture could be quite lucrative, and it can be done in an efficient manner. No?
Okay. We have 20 ladies from the group. We have some from Scotland Half Moon, we have from Isabella Bank, Bermudan Landing, and Double Head Cabbage. The project is sponsoring us with 1 acre of land. We are getting 4 sheep and 2 goats for some of the ladies who don't trust to take care of the goat. Then they will be able to get 5 sheep and 1 ram. We also getting the fencing, 1 acre of fencing, the shelter for the sheep, a water tank for the water supply.
I see this project benefiting all the people who produce sheep and goat in the area, because the housing is it's of a superior design. No? It allows for sanitary housing and living condition for the sheep and the goat. Also efficiency in cleaning and water use. No? You have to use a lot of water to clean the house, because this is a slatted floor, so all the manure and urine go right through the floor. And you can also collect the manure easily from below the flooring.
We also getting a processing shed, whereby we will, because 15 ladies will be getting sheep and 15 will getting the sheep house, but the other 5 will be working in the processing shed. So the 5 that will be working in the processing shed will rotate, so every time they go, they can make their own money from that as well. From the goat, they will be making the milk and the cheese, and also dressing the sheep and the goat.
Right now I have 12 sheep, and with the help, they will assist me with 6 more, 5 female and 1 male, and a goat. Well, I would like up to 75 head of sheep, and by reaching that goal, if you had good breeding sheep, that shouldn't take you long. At least you can get almost 3 sets of sheep per year, and most of the sheep that I raise mostly have twins or 3 babies. I hardly have sheep that had 1 kid. Sometimes they have 4, but very rare when they have 4.
Even the women of the women's group, they have also been included in the training. So all of your people are quite aware now of alternative feed. No? There's the moringa, lucina, nasadero, mulberry, which are like trees, they are shrubs, and they could take droughts and they could take flooding, and they're high in protein. And then with the different variety of sugar cane that is more palatable, it's not a hard cane, it's soft, and it's high in protein, could also be used as an energy source and a protein for the animals. No? So from my experience with the high demand for both the sheep and the goat products, I saw the need to expand this industry. It's a new industry in the whole of Belize. There's not much goat or sheep production going on in the country.
Just like once again to thank the European Union who sponsored the upliftment and the construction of our new market. I think the money was well invested. I think that we can see the benefits of this market since it was built. I think it was 6 years ago, I think we built this market, and we have seen the tremendous growth that this market has brought to the Twin Towns of St. Ignacio, and how it has affected and improved, the lives, of the people, especially from the rural areas, that come to sell their products at this market.
On behalf of my family, the committee, the market committee, the vendors, we would tell the European Union big thank you, because it's a project we were waiting for a long time, and they are the one who assisted us, and we know that we will take care of what they have implemented or what they have given us today. We would appreciate that very much.
We extend our gratitude to the project for supporting us in developing for one quality infrastructure in the country, because it's very important for trade as a small developing country. And we also extend our gratitude to the government of Belize for providing the resources, both human and physical, over the last 6 years. This has been 6 years of work to get to this point, although the Bureau has been a government department since 1997. But we are at a critical juncture in our development, and we are very pleased that the government and the BRDP too recognize the importance of the department and see it as beneficial to the national development of the country.